Now, as if we haven't heard enough about the government spying on the people and the press as of late, get ready for the latest case of encroachment.
So why is the government scooping up millions of phone records?
We began yesterday finding out that the government has been accessing the American public's cell phone records. And that was the first shoe to be dropped yesterday. And now the second shoe fell late last night. Now we find out that not only is the criminal U.S. government spying on our cell phone records, but that they are also looking at all of our internet access as well. In short, a direct line into your online life. The FBI National Security Agency are the ones who are doing it. According to a report of the Washington Post and Britain's Guardian newspaper, they've been doing it for the last 6 years as part of a highly classified, never-before-disclosed intelligence gathering program codenamed Prism. The Internet Surveillance Program collects data from online providers including email, chat services, videos, photos, stored data, file transfers, video conferencing and logins, according to classified documents obtained and posted by the Washington Post and then the Guardian on Thursday afternoon. According to the reporting, it began during the Bush administration, but it has grown exponentially during the Obama administration. The FBI and the NSA are vacuuming up your emails, online pictures, audio and video by tapping directly into the servers of the 5 companies that I mentioned, plus Microsoft, Paltalk, AOL, Skype, Apple, and soon, according to the Post, Dropbox. The Post and Guardian reporting that Prism is using the data feed as raw material for a massive data mining operation aimed at spotting patterns that might provide early warning of a terrorist attack. Word that the FBI and NSA asked for, and got, a secret court order giving them access to phone records for all Verizon cell phone calls, foreign, domestic, and local. White House officials neither confirming nor denying the story, but they are defending the practice of data collection for national security purposes. The confirmation of the classified program came just hours after government officials acknowledged a separate 7-year effort to sweep up records of telephone calls inside the United States. Together, the unfolding revelations opened a window into the growth of government surveillance that began under the Bush administration, after the terrorist attacks of September 11, 2001, and has clearly been embraced and even expanded under the Obama administration. Are you seeing the criminal police state yet? I mean, come on people, stop being cowards before we all become slaves. Stop being naive. It's going to get us all killed.
Well, Anderson, I can tell you right now that White House officials are simply not commenting, and congressional officials who have oversight over these matters, they're not commenting about these latest revelations broken this afternoon in the Washington Post and Guardian newspapers. But we can tell you, Anderson, you've been talking just over the last couple of minutes about these, I guess, revelations that have come out in these stories that the government has been using the servers at about 9 internet companies, technology companies out in the Silicon Valley.
The Washington Post just discovered that the NSA, along with the FBI, has been tapping directly into central servers of 9 U.S. internet companies and taking their data. This type of massive surveillance falls under a program codenamed Prism that was established back in 2007. Over the past 6 years, the program has expanded exponentially. So much so, in fact, that it is the leading source of raw material collected by intelligence agencies, accounting for nearly 1 in 7 intel reports, and it has reportedly become the most prolific contributor to the president's daily briefing.
Our senior correspondent, John Miller, is a former Assistant Deputy Director of National Intelligence. John, how does the government use this information?
This is an example of how to exploit big data. That's metadata. It's really data about data that is in the hundreds of millions, in the billions of pieces of data. And in its size, it offers almost built-in anonymity, because what you're not seeing is the name of the account number and who the phone or the content of the calls. What you're just seeing is what numbers are calling what numbers and for how long.
But as you said, Anderson, a very remarkable day up on Capitol Hill. Members of Congress from both sides of the aisle questioning the Obama administration, trying to get at exactly what is going on with the Patriot Act and the authority that's been given apparently to the FBI and the NSA to look at phone records from millions of Americans who subscribe to Verizon communications. But at this point, just no answers from the White House at this point. They're not commenting directly on those stories, only saying that this type of data collection is consistent with the law and that it does protect national security.
Now, here are the 9 tech companies that are participating in this Prism program, all of which are knowingly taking part in this operation, according to the Washington Post. They include Microsoft, Yahoo, Google, Facebook, Paltalk, AOL, Skype, YouTube, and Apple. Government officials boast that the cloud storage service Dropbox could soon be the next name on that list.
What about privacy for the average American?
Well, the privacy is built in the idea that they're not dealing with names. They're dealing with metadata. So the argument would have to be made just by having my number, even though you don't know it's my number until it actually connects to some terrorist plot, doesn't violate my privacy.
And if it's Verizon, it's probably, one can assume it's probably others as well. Congressman Paul, who's joining us on the phone, what is your reaction to this news? It's not just phone records, but apparently, according to the Washington Post, also internet data that the government is monitoring.
Well, I guess I wished I could be shocked, but I'm not surprised. I think there's been a few of us who have been warning about this and voted against the Patriot Act, voted against these FISA accords, so it doesn't surprise me a bit. And because it's not confirmed by these companies, just means that they are intimidated. They can get into a lot of trouble. I mean, they can turn over these records and they're not allowed to even talk about it. So it's a horrible, horrible situation. But the one thing it's doing, these events are really helping me make my case that I've been working on for a couple of years. You've got to watch the power of government. Power in government is almost always abused, and this is abused, and it isn't the Democrats and it isn't the Republicans. It's both of them. And then it's the toleration of the people. The people put up with it. So it's very, very dangerous. I don't think there's anything left to our Fourth Amendment. This whole idea of needing probable cause to get a search warrant, that's totally gone. And this to me is very, very serious, but also it's an awakening call. Let's hope that we can get the progressives together with the libertarians and the constitutionalists and say enough is we've had enough of this, and we have to stop. Our economy doesn't work, the foreign policy is in shambles, and now we have no privacy because people say they want to be safe.
If they are in contact with a foreigner, it very much could be the case. Now, this program has never come to light in public before. Even now, the only reason we are discovering any of this is because a whistleblower revealed the program to the Post over his or her feelings of its capabilities. The whistleblower told the Post, quote, "They quite literally can watch your ideas form as you type them. This is just another shocking example of what the government is collecting from you in the supposed quest to protect you."
Our senior correspondent, John Miller, is a former Assistant Deputy Director of National Intelligence. John, how does the government use this information?
This is an example of how to exploit big data. That's metadata. It's really data about data that is in the hundreds of millions, in the billions of pieces of data.
But as you said, Anderson, a very remarkable day up on Capitol Hill. Members of Congress from both sides of the aisle questioning the Obama administration, trying to get at exactly what is going on with the Patriot Act and the authority that's been given apparently to the FBI and the NSA to look at phone records from millions of Americans who subscribe to Verizon communications. But at this point, just no answers from the White House at this point. They're not commenting directly on those stories, only saying that this type of data collection is consistent with the law and that it does protect national security.
What about privacy for the average American?
Well, the privacy is built in the idea that they're not dealing with names. They're dealing with metadata. So